Hi, welcome back. Today we're doing a snow globe start to finish. We're going to be using element sheets from Gracefully Created. The decal and element sheets are the bundle with Alyssa from Sarah Shop Creates. You're going to want to make sure that you wipe down your glass snow globe with alcohol first. This element sheet does come pre-cut, but I do want to just cut off these stripes right here because I'm going to do 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. I just want to make it easier for myself, so I'm just going to go ahead and slice those off and then slice it down the middle. Once you slice it down the middle, you're just going to remove all of the extra pieces from where it was pre-cut, I guess. Remove that clear paper and just, toss it. And all you want is the stripes. Right here, I'm putting my seam on the back end just so that it's not a focal point. These stripes are super easy to use. They're basically like vinyl striping, except they come already ready for you to add to your tumblers. So I'm just taking my little squeegee tool from the Denos Tumbler Turners and flattening that out, and then I'm just going to lift it up a little bit just so I can straighten it. It did go a little bit crooked. That's okay. These come right up, and it's super easy to just readjust them as you need. So that's what I'm doing right here, just realigning it, making sure it's completely straight, and then I'm gonna slice down right there with my X-Acto knife. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing right here at the bottom. You're probably wondering if the lines are gonna show since this is glass. I'm not gonna lie, they do sometimes show, but you're gonna be putting glitter on the inside of this, so that's what's gonna be the focal point. It's not gonna be those lines on the edges of your decal or stripes or whatever you decide to use from your element sheets. So honestly, don't even worry about that. They're barely noticeable, if anything. You really have to look closely for it to even show. So now that I have this, I wanted to add a little bit more to it. So I went in with these little lightning bolts and I just added them to the negative space. As you can tell, they do come pre-cut, so it's super easy to just pick it up and apply it to my cup. So any little area where I feel that they would look cute, I just went ahead and added one. I just flattened it down with my finger, or here in a bit, I did get a little wrinkle and I just lifted it back up and squeegeed it down with my little squeegee tool from the Denos. I'm gonna stop yapping and I'll play some music until we get to the next step. And we are back. I'm gonna take Times Square from Petey Creative Studio. I'm gonna have everything that I use linked in the description with discount codes. Now I know that there's tips and tricks, the tape, the little silicone bands that you can put around the edge so that your glitter doesn't fly anywhere, but it's super easy to get this glitter inside the hole, so I'm not gonna do that. I feel like it's more of a mess when I do it, so this is how I like to do it. You can add as much or as little glitter as you like. There really isn't a right or wrong amount. For this particular cup, I wanted a little bit less glitter, kind of like in the middle of what I usually use. I wanted to make sure that it had a really good flow with it and you're able to still see all the decals. Let's talk liquid real quick. You can either use 50-50 distilled water and glycerin, which is my favorite. You can do 1/3 water, 1/3 glycerin, and 1/3 clear school glue. That one is also a really good one. I personally don't like that, what is it called? That slime stuff that people have been using. Just because I feel like it doesn't give a really good flow. With snow globes, personally, I want the glitter to be moving. I don't want it suspended. Either one of those solutions work. My favorite, my tried and true, is the 50-50 distilled water with glycerin. You're going to fill it up halfway with your solution, and then you're going to shake it really hard, and then you're going to look all around this rim to make sure that there's no clumps. If there is, keep shaking, shake really freaking hard, and then fill it up all the way. Clean it up with alcohol. And then I'm going to use these adhesive dots from Gorilla Glue just to seal that hole before I go in with UV. I do use all 3 that come on a strip just to make sure that I seal this hole all the way through. There's going to be no leaks, nothing, because after the UV resin, I am going to go in with epoxy, and once you do that, you can't lift up your seal again to reseal it or to fix any leaks that you have. So you want to make sure that you have a really good seal. Now, once I have all my adhesive dots on the tumbler and I am confident that that hole is plugged up really well, I take my UV resin from Petey Creative Studio. I'm going to go over that hole and just a little bit further around it just to cover the adhesive dots as well. And then I'm going to take my UV light from Amazon. It's just a UV flashlight that you can find in my Amazon storefront. I have a whole section for Snowglobe tumblers. Once my UV curing epoxy is cured, I go straight in with my DIY epoxy, Artisan Epoxy. This is the regular set, not the fast set. I'm going to go ahead and mix that up until I see no more marbling, at least 5 minutes maybe. Usually 3 minutes, because I do warm my part A up before I mix it, just so that it's easier to mix together. Taping this top rim off is really important because you don't want any epoxy to go up to that top part. I do suggest that you set a timer at least 30 minutes after you epoxy to take off that tape. Don't forget, because it's going to be a big pain in the butt to smooth out that epoxy if you let it cure with the tape there. I used about 13 mLs of epoxy, and then I just let this cure for about 24 hours. Everything is going to be linked in my description below. Now this next part is optional. I'm going to use honey from PDB Creative Studio. These are some glass rhinestones. I'm going to use my PDB Creative Studio rhinestone tool and my liquid fusion. Everything for this can be found on the PDB website, also linked in my description. This part is completely optional. You don't have to do this step. So with that, I'm going to conclude this tutorial. I'm going to play some music just so that you can watch me finish rhinestoning this top. I'll see you guys next week for the next tutorial. I can't wait to see if you guys try one of these for yourselves.